What if I told you that the voice you use to talk to yourself every day is either your greatest healer or your worst enemy, and that most of us are unknowingly using the voice of our harshest critic instead of our most loving friend? I'm about to share something with you that completely changed my life, and I know it will change yours too. But first, let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about this. What's the first thing you say to yourself when you wake up in the morning? Is it, "Good morning, beautiful, you've got this"? Or is it more like, "Ugh, another day, you look terrible, you're already behind"? If you're like most people, including myself for most of my life, it's probably the second one. And here's the thing, that voice didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been with you since you were a child, shaping every decision, every relationship, every moment of your life. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is 32 years old, and every morning she stands in front of her bathroom mirror, and the first words she hears aren't her own. They're her mother's voice from 25 years ago. "You look tired, Sarah. You're behind on everything. Why can't you just get it together?" Sound familiar? I know it does because I've been there. I've stood in that same mirror, hearing voices that weren't mine, carrying criticism that wasn't even true. And maybe you have too. Here's what I discovered that changed everything. We're not just talking to ourselves as adults. We're talking to the child inside us who's still listening, still believing, still being shaped by every word we say. Think about this for a moment. When you were 7 years old, what did you need to hear? Did you need someone to tell you that you weren't good enough? That you were too slow, too sensitive, too much, or not enough? Of course not. You needed to hear that you were loved, that you were safe, that you were worthy just as you were. But here's what happened instead. Maybe your parents were stressed, overwhelmed, dealing with their own childhood wounds. Maybe your teachers were frustrated, your classmates were cruel, or society told you that you had to be perfect to be loved, and that 7-year-old, they internalized every harsh word, every criticism, every moment they felt unseen or unworthy. And now, as an adult, you've become the very voice that hurt you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed that you talk to yourself in a way you would never talk to your best friend? Have you ever caught yourself saying things to yourself that you wouldn't say to your worst enemy? I remember the moment I realized this. I was having the worst day. I'd made a mistake at work. I was running late. I felt like everything was falling apart. And as I sat in my car, I heard myself saying, "You're such an idiot. You can't do anything right. Everyone's going to think you're a failure." Then I thought about my best friend going through the same situation. Would I ever say those words to her? Would I ever look at someone I loved and call them an idiot? Tell them they can't do anything right? Never. Not in a million years. So why was I saying it to myself? That's when I realized something profound. Your inner child, that little person who needed love, encouragement, and safety, they're still there. They're still listening to every word you say to yourself. And they're either being healed or harmed by your internal voice every single day. Let me share with you exactly what I learned about talking to your inner child and how it can transform your entire life. Step 1. Recognition. The first step is catching yourself in the act. For 1 week, I want you to become aware of your internal dialogue. Every time you hear that harsh inner voice, pause and ask yourself, is this how I would talk to a frightened child? I started doing this, and I was shocked by what I discovered. I was calling myself names I wouldn't call anyone. I was criticizing myself for being human, for making mistakes, for having feelings. When I spilled coffee on my shirt, my inner voice said, "You're so clumsy, you can't even drink coffee properly." When I felt sad about something, my inner voice said, Stop being so dramatic. You're too sensitive. When I made a mistake at work, my inner voice said, "You're incompetent. They're going to fire you." Each time I asked myself, would I say this to a 7-year-old? Would I call a child clumsy for spilling something? Would I tell a child they're too sensitive for having feelings? Would I tell a child they're incompetent for making a mistake? The answer was always no, and that's when I knew I had to change. Step 2. The compassionate voice. This is where the real work begins. You have to learn a new language, the language of self-compassion. It's not about positive thinking or fake affirmations. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you would show a beloved child. Instead of, "You're so lazy," I learned to say, "You're tired, and that's okay. You're doing your best with what you have right now." Instead of, "You always mess up," I learned to say, "You're learning, and mistakes are part of growth. I'm proud of you for trying." Instead of, "You're not good enough," I learned to say, "You are enough exactly as you are. You don't have to earn love by being perfect." Let me give you some specific examples that you can start using today. When you're feeling anxious, instead of, "Stop being so anxious, you're being ridiculous," try saying, "I see that you're scared right now. It's okay to feel this way. You're safe, and we'll figure this out together." When you make a mistake, instead of, "You're such an idiot," try saying, "Everyone makes mistakes. This doesn't define you. What can we learn from this?" When you're feeling overwhelmed, instead of, "You should be able to handle this," try saying, "This is a lot to deal with. You're doing the best you can. Let's take this one step at a time." Here's a question for you. What's one harsh thing you say to yourself regularly? Drop it in the comments below. Let's bring these hidden voices into the light. Step 3. Daily practice. Now, here's where the magic happens. Every morning, I want you to have a conversation with your inner child. Look in the mirror and speak to yourself like you're talking to the little person you used to be. This felt awkward at first. I remember standing in my bathroom feeling silly, wondering if I was losing my mind. But then I thought about that 7-year-old version of myself, the one who was scared, who felt alone, who just wanted someone to say everything was going to be okay. So I started simple. "Good morning, sweetheart. I see you. I believe in you. We're going to figure this out together." Some days when I was struggling, I would say, "I know you're scared right now. I know this feels hard, but I'm here with you. You're not alone. We're going to take care of each other." Other days when things were going well, I would say, "Look at you. Look at how far you've come. I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a good job." The transformation didn't happen overnight, but slowly something began to shift. That critical voice started to quiet down. The anxiety that had been my constant companion began to ease. I started making decisions from a place of love instead of fear. The ripple effect. Here's what I didn't expect. When you heal your relationship with yourself, everything else changes too. My relationships improved because I stopped seeking validation from others. I was finally giving myself the love I'd been desperately trying to get from everyone else. My work performance improved because I stopped being paralyzed by perfectionism. I could take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without destroying myself with criticism. My physical health improved because I started treating my body with kindness instead of punishment. I exercised because I loved myself, not because I hated myself. My creativity flourished because I wasn't constantly shutting down my ideas with harsh judgment. But the most profound change was this. I finally felt like I had a friend living inside my head instead of an enemy. The science behind it. Now you might be thinking, "This sounds nice, but is there any science behind it?" Absolutely. Research in neuroscience shows that self-compassion activates the same neural pathways as receiving compassion from others. When you speak to yourself with kindness, your brain releases oxytocin and endorphins, the same chemicals associated with love and connection. Studies by Dr. Kristen Neff have shown that self-compassion is more effective than self-esteem in promoting mental health. People who practice self-compassion have lower levels of anxiety and depression, better relationships, and greater resilience in the face of failure. Your brain is literally rewiring itself every time you choose compassion over criticism. You're creating new neural pathways that support healing instead of harm. Why this matters more than you think. Here's something that might surprise you. The way you talk to yourself affects everyone around you. Your children, your partner, your friends. They all absorb your energy, your self-worth, your internal dialogue. When you're harsh with yourself, you're modeling that behavior for others. When you're kind to yourself, you're showing others that it's okay to be human, to make mistakes, to be imperfect. Think about the children in your life. Do you want them to grow up with a harsh inner critic, or do you want them to have a loving inner friend? The choice you make about how to talk to yourself today is the choice you're making for them too. Your inner child is waiting. Right now, as you're listening to this, your inner child is there. They're the part of you that still gets excited about simple pleasures, that still believes in magic, that still hopes for love and acceptance. They're also the part of you that carries old wounds, that remembers being hurt, that learned to protect themselves by being small or invisible or perfect. They're waiting for you to notice them, to speak to them with kindness, to tell them that they're safe now, that they're loved, that they don't have to carry those old hurts anymore. The practice that changed everything. Let me share with you the exact practice that transformed my life. Every morning, I do this simple exercise. I look in the mirror and I say, "Good morning, beautiful. I see you. I love you. You are enough, exactly as you are. Today we're going to take care of each other. Whatever happens, we're in this together." When I'm struggling, I say, "I know this is hard. I know you're scared, but you're not alone. I'm here with you. We're going to figure this out. You're stronger than you know, and you don't have to be perfect." When I make a mistake, I say, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. This doesn't change how much you're loved. What can we learn from this? How can we grow?" When I'm proud of something, I say, "Look at you. Look at what you've accomplished. I'm so proud of you. You worked so hard for this. You deserve to celebrate." The 30-day challenge. Here's what I want you to do. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to talking to your inner child with love. Every morning, spend 2 minutes speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a beloved child. Notice what happens. Notice how it feels. Notice how it changes your entire day. I guarantee you that after 30 days, you'll be a different person. You'll have rewired your brain for self-compassion. You'll have healed wounds you didn't even know were there. You'll have become your own best friend. What your inner child needs to hear. Let me give you some specific phrases you can use. You are loved no matter what. You are safe now. Your feelings matter. You don't have to be perfect. I'm proud of you for trying. You're doing the best you can. It's okay to make mistakes. You deserve kindness. I believe in you. You're not alone. Here's the transformation. Sarah, the woman I told you about at the beginning, she's been practicing this for 6 months now. The other day, she sent me a message that brought tears to my eyes. She said, "I stood in front of the mirror this morning, and for the first time in my life, I smiled at myself. Not because I looked perfect, but because I was looking at someone I love. I was looking at a friend." That's the transformation I want for you. I want you to look in the mirror and see a friend. I want you to go through your day with a loving voice in your head instead of a critical one. I want you to treat yourself with the same kindness you show others. Here's what I want you to do right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you feel ready. Right now, I want you to find a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say these words: I see you, I love you, you are enough. Say it even if you don't believe it yet. Say it even if it feels awkward. Say it because that little child inside you has been waiting their whole life to hear those words. Then, come back to this video and tell me how it felt. Share in the comments what you're going to say to your inner child every day. Let's create a community of people who are learning to be kind to themselves. I promise you this: when you learn to talk to your inner child with love, you don't just change your relationship with yourself, you change your entire life. You become the parent you needed, the friend you wanted, and the person you were always meant to be. You stop living in fear and start living in love. You stop seeking validation from others and start giving it to yourself. You stop being your own worst enemy and start being your own best friend. Your inner child is waiting. They've been waiting for you to come home to yourself, to speak to them with kindness, to tell them they're worthy of love. The question is, are you ready to give them what they've always needed? Are you ready to transform your life with the power of self-compassion? The choice is yours. Your inner child is listening. What are you going to say to them today? If this video has touched your heart, if you're ready to start this journey of self-compassion, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on healing and emotional wellness. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, you are not broken. You are not too much or not enough. You are a human being who deserves love, kindness, and compassion, especially from yourself. Your inner child is waiting. It's time to come home to yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and tell me where you are watching from. What's one thing you're going to say to your inner child today? Share it in the comments below. Let's heal together, one compassionate word at a time.